Hi, and welcome to episode number 3 of Cliq, in which we discuss your questions related to personal finance. This is Cheshta Sharma, and this is
Kirtiman Sharma.
Let's take up today's question. So, question is sent by Aniket. He says, I'm a business owner. I own 3 shops in Karol Bagh, Delhi. I live in my parental home. How I can leverage my properties to build more properties with the rental income? And my current salary is 5 lakh rupees per month, in which I'm already spending approximately 1.5 lakh rupees per month because he lives with family. Rest money he's putting in FD and mutual funds. So he's already into investment, but his main question is that how he can build more properties and leverage them to create rental income for himself.
Let's break this down. Let's break down the question. First of all, business owner, and secondly, he has 3 shops in Karol Bagh. So Karol Bagh is an area in Delhi. All the people in Delhi know it, and it's a wholesale market.
It's a wholesale market.
So yeah, there is no way we would suggest him to probably sell the property because he's earning money 5 lakh rupees a month from there. So that's there, and he's living in parental home. Okay, families involved, and he wants to leverage the properties. So he's himself saying that he wants to leverage the properties and build more properties with rental income. Okay, so he wants to earn secondary income from the properties, right? So these are the things, and income he's taking home is 5 lakh rupees a month.
That is the active income,
right? For that he has to go. The active income is, he has to go to the workplace and work there. And 1.5 lakh rupees a month he's doing expenses, which is very good. According to our, the budget blueprints, you start from 55% of your total income, and then as and when your income starts growing, you can decrease the amount of your personal necessities, and that's what has happened here.
Because he lives in home,
right?
So there's no
rent and
rent and everything. And also the business place also he owns, so there's no rent going out.
From 55%, the personal necessities has come down drastically now. All right, and rest of the money is putting in FDs, fixed deposit. That's, I think, the concern must be lower the risk. Lower the risk. Right.
Maybe he'll be needing money because he live with parents, so he want to keep it handy.
Right. And mutual funds. So he has a mix of high risk and low risk investments. Great. So let's address the situation. So first of all, we are following a formula. Okay, so this is the formula. We'll explain some of it, but not all of it right now. Don't get confused with all the things which are written in the formula. The first thing is the 3 B's, and in 3 B's, the second B is the budget blueprint. So in the blueprint, what happens is, you need to have some, we design your personal finances in such a way that you need to have some emergency funds.
Okay.
Right? Until and unless you have some emergency funds, especially in this case when he wants to leverage his properties, which he uses those properties in order to get productive income, the active income. So I don't want him to get into a situation where, if he gets into a mess, he doesn't has any emergency funds.
Okay.
Right? But I'm guessing he's taking care of this because he has done some FDs. But Aniket, if you've not done any FDs or the amount of FDs, I don't know the percentage you're putting in. I'm hoping that you are calculating it according to whatever you think emergency fund requirement is. Secondly, your parents are involved and you are also involved. To one of the emergency funds which you don't have to accumulate is health insurance. Because once you have health insurance, there's a lot of money which you can take when the need arises.
So the first question is, do you have a health insurance or not? For everyone in the family.
Blueprint has to be clear. That is, you need to have emergency funds and you need to have health insurance.
Does he need health insurance for everyone in the family?
I don't know if he has already had insurances for his parents, then it would be cheaper. But if he gets it now, I'm pretty sure it's going to be very expensive because they are already old, and
Yeah.
so insurance companies would say that they are already old, they are going to get sick, they're going to fall ill. uh, so it's going to be
But
very
Aniket,
expensive.
for you and your like wife and kids, you
You should
should definitely have,
definitely get it.
because it's a right age. You're
Right.
young, and
Right.
the premium of the insurance.
There is no
will be
doubt
less.
that you should not get. You should definitely get. I'm
And-
not asking to get a life insurance, by the way. If you want, you can go there also, and we can discuss that in another video. But according to this question, what I want is emergency funds for living, which is when you are living, that is, you need to have health insurance, right? We can get into the life insurance part also, but let's not go there right now. So now we come to the second aspect of it, that is the property. He wants to get some property. So
Yeah.
there are various ways of getting property here, I think.
So he has 4 properties already, 3
Three.
shops and 1 home.
Okay, yeah, one home also.
Yeah.
All right. So I think what you can do is, first, rather than, so we'll be going into 2 phases. Like, we have some active income which is excess of your personal necessities, that is 3.5 lakh rupees you have. But I'm guessing that you want to still continue with the FDs and mutual funds, right?
Yeah.
But if you don't want, we can take some amount of that and create a down payment
Fund.
thing, fund. Yeah. Other than that, you can take up loan according to your ITRs if you want, or you can take up loans against your properties. I would suggest you can go with one of the shops and all. But before doing any of that, go and search for properties. And when I say search for properties, see, this is again a complete course in itself, how to buy properties. People constantly telling me what I'm going to tell you is not possible, but I've constantly been able to do it, and that is buy properties which are positive cash flow properties.
Okay.
What does that mean?
What does that mean? Yes.
So that means basically, see, what I say is that your deal, whatever deal you're making, has to be profitable when you make it, not in the future. So that's the assumption here. So if you're buying a property on loan specifically, so the loan EMI has to be lower than the rent which you are getting from your property that you are buying.
But he will not get rent from the first day itself.
It's okay. At least we can calculate it in terms of 1 year.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
And when we calculate, if you guys talk to me and we go into detail of what is the formula, just like this, for buying the property and assessing the property, I do take into account that there's going to be vacancies also. Even though he has a tenant right now, by the way, you can get pre-leased properties. But even if you don't have a tenant, or you have a tenant and the tenant goes away, so in the calculation there is a provision that you can, so I take around 8%, that is 1 month out of 12 months, 1 month it will be vacant.
Yeah.
It might be vacant for a much longer time, but in a longer run, that's the calculation.
So we are calculating for 8 months is this occupied.
8%. So 8% is not occupied. 8% is like approximately 1 month.
Okay, 8%.
So 11 months it's occupied.
11 months it is occupied.
So that's my assumption, by the way. Again, it can be lower than that also in some cases, but that's where our property management skills come into play, right?
Okay.
Again, coming back to the main the chunk, that is, you have to get a property, you have to find a property in which the rental income, whatever rent per month you are getting, is more than the EMI.
Okay, how much should be the difference? Like, if it's a 1 rupee difference, 10 rupee, is it good?
Theoretically, it is just 1 rupee difference. Why? Because even if you're getting 1 rupee difference, 1 rupee higher, your EMI is 1 rupee lower than the rent. The rent is 1 rupee higher than the EMI, right? If that's the case, there's a little bit of difference, then also you are positive cash flowing, which means, in essence, you would be buying the property, but the EMI would be paid by your tenant, not you.
Okay, I have one question. Let's say Aniket has money, and let's say he has saved some 20 lakh rupees, and he gives 20 lakh rupees, buy a smaller shop like ATM machine, and then all the money is positive.
Yes, you can do that. Also, you can
Does it,
definitely.
is it, or you say you should take a loan and then repay? And
It all depends on the strategy which we are employing, first of all, but see, if you are a longer risk taker and you are able to take a longer risk, there's a strategy called BRRRR. That is, uh, in that strategy, you first buy a property which is like it's a ruined property. It's a ruined property, but in a very good location. That property, because the location is very good but the property is very bad, so you get it at cheap price, but nobody's going to give you loan on that property.
Mhm.
So you might have to buy it in
With-
cash, the
okay.
first property. And then, so this is the buy. And then you refab it, you make it good.
develop it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then you rent it.
Mhm.
Once you rent it, after you've rented it for like 6 months or a year, you go to the bank and ask them to refinance on that particular property.
Okay.
So this is the third R in the BUR. And because the property now looks good, is in a good location, and it is cash flowing,
Mhm. Mhm.
it has a tenant, so you'll get a much higher valuation of the property than what you bought it for.
Okay.
Right? And once you've got the refinancing, you can repeat the whole process and buy a new property. Basically, by refinancing, you'll get around 70% in India.
Mhm.
In India, you'll get around 70%
Okay.
of the property, whatever valuation that put.
Okay.
But that 70% would be much more than whatever you put in the first place.
So he has two options. One is he can take up a loan
Yes.
and find a cash flow positive property, or he can start with a very bad property at a good location,
Right.
develop it, and then get a
Yes.
refinance from the bank.
Correct.
Which is better? Does taking up a loan is like too much burden, or he should start with what?
See, the thing is, the taking up the loan is not cumbersome, but how much loan are you taking? That is why in the beginning only I said you must have emergency funds, because once you've taken the loan, and especially on the cash flow, the shops which are actively bringing in money for you and your family, I don't want any risks there.
Okay, when you say risk, how do this person calculate what is my risk taking capacity?
All right, so how do you calculate your risk taking capability is much more psychological than numbers, first of all.
Mhm.
But we can always assess the risk or lower down the risk by assessing the instruments in which we are trying to invest. Like here, the amount of loan or the EMI we are taking, even though, let's say, one of the shop is 1 crore rupees.
Okay.
Let's say the bank says, we can give you 70 lakh rupees. This is an
Okay.
example. By the Karol Bagh shops must be much more higher.
Let's, for the example,
Right.
say.
Simpler. Right, so the bank is saying 70 lakh
70
rupees
lakhs.
we'll give you.
Okay.
You don't need to take 70 lakh rupees.
Okay.
You only should take that much amount of money which is required to buy a property that is giving equivalent amount of rent.
Then again, here my question is, let's say I'm getting two properties, one is of 20, one is of 40 lakh. Now, how do I decide that should I take a risk of 20 lakh or should I take a risk of 40 lakh, because I have a pre-approved loan of 70 lakh, which is much at a higher cap.
So that you
Is
can,
it psychological only?
first of all, it's psychological, but you can assess. If you see, let's say your EMI on 70 lakhs, again a simple calculation, let's say on 70 lakhs it is 70,000 rupees.
Okay.
Right now, 70,000, finding a property which is worth which is giving you 70,000 rupees a month rent is not easy.
Okay.
Right? You have to find, most probably this property is going to be a commercial property, because only commercial properties are able to
Give.
this ratio of the cost of buying versus rent is much favorable in terms of commercial properties, not at home. The residential properties don't give these ratios, good ratios. So here, if you are able to get a property which is giving you 70,000 rupees or more than that, first of all, again, this is the thing, I said theoretically 1
Yeah.
rupee is
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Theoretically 1 rupee is there. But how I calculate really is, I calculate the insurance of the home. I also
Okay.
calculate if there is any maintenance fee if the property is in the mall or something. So all
There's
these
a
costs,
property tax annually.
taxes, whatever. So everything, all of these things are included plus your EMI. So this is one chunk, and then the second chunk is the rent which you are getting. If now the rent is more than your first chunk, then the property is worth buying. And see, the thing is, if you go to 99acres.com, you might not find, I don't know, we should say the brand name. So if you go to property portals, you might not find these properties, because by the time properties reach property portals, it's already too late. These types of property are not even on the market. You have to find them through networks or find them through turnkey. There are a lot of property managers who can help you in this.
Who have a area knowledge or who are a local at,
they manage these kind of things.
They know more of the region.
So from there you can get into property. And the last one of the easiest way to get into properties, REITs also, that is real estate investment trust. But I don't think that's what he wants.
No, that he is already investing in some mutual funds. I think he is looking for a rental income.
Right.
Okay. So, Aniket, you have two options. Like you can.
By the way, I just wanted to clarify what is REIT. These are exchange traded funds. So what are they is, there's this kind of a fund in which multiple people will put in their money. And this fund is now going to invest in a property. This property is going to do two things. One, appreciate in value, and second, give out cash flow, because there are going to be many tenants inside this property. Generally, these properties are like business complexes and business parks, IT parks and all, because they are big. There can be many tenants and they all are very high paying tenants. Alright, so after some times these REITs, they can meet again. There are meetings. They can decide on, should we sell the property or should we continue cash flowing it. And then whenever the cash flow comes monthly, it's distributed as just like dividends of the stock. So this is how it happens.
This is a kind of stock only.
Yeah, this is kind of a stock. This is not stock.
But yes, okay.
Yeah.
But buying a rental property, they will also appreciate with some time.
This will also appreciate, but here you don't have a lot of control. In RITs, you don't have a lot of control. But when you buy a property, you have a lot of control.
You can follow the BRRRR method, which you do.
Yes, BRRRR method cannot be followed in RITs.
BRRRR method cannot be followed. So because his aim is to build a rental income, right? So if he follows the BRRRR method and he has already some properties to leverage, if you follow it right, you will be able to earn 5 lakh rupees just additional rental income.
Yes,
if you follow it right.
Plus the appreciation would be there, because your properties would keep on appreciating and the properties will appreciate. So I always say, why sell a property if it is cash flowing? You can always refinance it. You can always take up a loan against property. And people sometimes want to use this money which they are getting for expenses, just expenses. If you're just using it for expenses, it might be a problem.
It is just a money lost.
Yeah. Otherwise, taking up a loan is the better idea. If you're buying another asset, then taking up a loan is absolutely no problem. First of all, banks are very okay because it's a secured loan, and you are buying a property like a project that there is an input cost and there is an output cost, and you're understanding that the output cost has to be much higher than the input cost. Simple. So that's there. So you can enumerate what are the solutions.
Alright, I hope Aniket, you got the answer to your question. Okay, so 4 key takeaways from today's case study is: number 1, that you should have your emergency fund and your bima or your insurance. Right, this is the first thing before you start investing, taking out risk, because you don't know when the emergency comes, especially health, because we have been through COVID time. So this is the first thing you should always take care. Number 2, what a person can do, take up a loan, but for buying the first property to generate a rental income. But when you are selecting the property, you have to always make sure that it is cash flow positive. It is cash flow positive 101%. It should be positive at this time when you are making up the deal. Okay. Third point is that you can follow the Burr method, and we'll be doing, of course, more videos on Burr method. And fourth takeaway is REITs, REIT, and how do they work? But they're not like buying an actual property, but they are funds in which you can put in your money. So we'll be doing more videos on that.
So any of you guys, if you want to understand much more in depth how the property formula is there, what the formula I'm using, and I can show you the sheet, the Excel sheet that I'm using to assess any property. Also the Burr method, which I told you, the refinancing method and the Burr method. Any of the methods, if you want, please ask me in the comment section. If there are many comment section in the comment section, I'll make separate videos for both of them, and you can understand it much better.
And thank you so much for watching this video. And if you like this video, please like, comment, share with your friends, send us more questions, and we will keep on answering. Thank you so much. This is Cheshta Sharma
I am Kirtiman Sharma
signing off.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.